What's up, everybody? Nih.gov here, back with another episode of the Guide Spirits podcast. And today I want to talk to you about grounding, otherwise known as earthing. It's all about getting yourself connected to the earth through a natural contact, like skin to earth is the best way. So you go out for a walk and you're barefoot. Now that would be the best way to actually ground, in my opinion. Now, there are other ways. So first, I will say routinely walking barefoot outdoors on whatever surface it is, just like anything, like on the earth, like as long as it's not like you're walking on like rubber or like some kind of insulated surface. Like you can't be inside a building most of the time. It has to be outside, so like dirt, grass, sand, etc. Standing in humid dirt is like really good because water is really conductive. So like if like you're in wet sand or you're in like a moist dirt, like that's gonna be really good for you, like getting like a good contact. The same goes for like touching trees. Like trees not only do trees take negative energy from you, like this is like through the trade of electrons, and this is the idea of like grounding too. Like you're like trading electrons with like the ground, and like ideally, if you really want to like feel better, like if you feel like you're carrying a lot of negative energy and it's kind of warm out like it was today. It's basically the middle of January, and we got one day that was 50 degrees in New England, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go outside, and I just went out and sat on my front steps, and just my socks, but my socks are mostly cotton, so they're still like conductive because polyester is plastic, so that's a insulator. So I sat out there and put my feet on the ground, and I just sat on my front steps and just like, listened to some meditative music, sat there and enjoyed life and looked around. It's all this, like, you feel good, like, the energy, you'll feel it, like, it really does take that negative energy from you, and there's a lot of health benefits to grounding. So, before I get to them, let me say lying flat on your back, or this, like, lying flat down on your stomach even, like, on dirt, sand, grass, anything, like, the more things that are touching the ground, the more pieces of you, the better. And when you're on sand, like, I love going to the beach during summer, and when I am on like a really warm area of sand, I will move my arms and my legs on the sand, and it's not like making a sand angel, but like it just feels so good because you're transferring a lot of electrons with the earth, and that's the best way to ground. So you can also like hug trees, but people are gonna look at you and be like, yo, you're hugging a tree. They're either gonna respect the shit out of you, or you're gonna think you're crazy, which, like, either way, I respect the shit out of you. If I see someone hugging a tree, I know it's up. And so a lot of people do know what's up. But you have to be, like, in tune with, like, how nature works to, like, be at that point. So, with this being said, another way to ground is actually being submerged in a body of water. So, like, ponds, lakes, ocean, stuff like that. It's a great way to transfer electrons. Like, moving water is, like, key. Like, in the shower, if you visualize, like, the negative energy running off of you, like, the trade of electrons, like, because, like, you have to remember that, like, an H2O molecule has, like, 2 lone pairs of electrons on the oxygen, and you have, like these, like, electrons all over your body, and they get swapped out, and, like, it's like recharging your body, like, literally. Like, this is like the science of it. Like, and moving on from here, I want to actually get into more of like the health benefits. So I'm reading off Very Well Health. I put it in the description of this podcast, and there's like, here's the list that they say, and then I'm going to read another study that's a little more like scientific, that has some more background, but it has a lot of benefits. So, improved mood, increased heart rate variability, improved blood flow, improved immune system function, especially with like the concentration of white blood cells and cytokines, reduced post-exertion muscle soreness, reduced pain, improved sleep quality, boosted metabolic rate, reduced inflammation, reduced autoimmune signaling, disease prevention, basically inflammatory autoimmune, but continuing on, reduced stress, improves the rate of wound healing and improved like physical function and energy. And that's like that what I was talking about for like when you just feel after grounding, you're just gonna feel like you have energy, and that's just how it goes. Like I literally just did that, and I came down into the studio and I was like, I'm gonna record a podcast on what I just did. And last but not least, it will help decrease fatigue and tiredness, and this also goes back to like that increased energy. Like a lot of times, like everything comes down to energy, and like the Earth has a magnetic field, and you also have a magnetic field, but the Earth is a lot bigger and a lot more powerful than you, and it's always moving. Everything on the Earth is always moving. Same with your body. Energy is never sitting still. It's always being transferred, and it transfers through these electrons mostly. The electrons are where bonds are formed and like everything. And like every time you touch like anything, like somehow like you are like either protons are pushing up against electrons and they're like repelling in like I guess you would call it like a strong force in like quantum physics. And then there's like weak forces, which are like the things that like bring atoms together and whatnot. So like there's variability in it. But to break it down, simply put, everything comes down to like this transfer of electrons and like how like things are repelling and attracting each other. So when you are increasing the amount of electrons on your body, you're going to have health benefits from this. And some of these benefits include sleep, like I said. And this is from the this other article that I have from the NCBI. It's improves sleep. It will normalize your day-night cortisol rhythm. So like how you feel and the amount of energy that is naturally flowing through your body. It will help reduce pain and reduce stress, which is key. A lot of like, especially for my mom, like she's really stressed out, and just going out for a walk like barefoot, like during the summer months, it helps her so much, and she is a lot less stressed during the summer from what I see. And I don't think she's very aware of this, but it just is like one of those things. Like if I brought it up to her, I bet you she would notice that is a like something that happens. With this being said, it will grounding will help shift the autonomic nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic, and this basically is gonna make you feel more relaxed. It's like basically that reducing stress, etc. This is just like the sciencey things that are going on with your nervous system, and like how like things are tensed up all the time because like the world is like everyone is like anxious for things to happen, especially because the music we listen to and I can't say the music we listen to because like the majority of the music people listen to is at 440, which like promotes anxiety and disorder. It's like it literally brings you to a level where you're like it's like really sharp. And it's like, whoa, like, what's going on? And then you listen to 432, and it's smooth, and it rolls, and it feels really nice when it hits your body. And that's, like, the idea of, like, that feeling like you're in that sympathetic state all the time is partially because of that. So increased heart rate variability again, and then this the entire study was on like wound healing, and like they had a bunch of subjects who had these different wounds. I guess they got out of surgery or something along those lines, or they got injured in some way. It looks like they had stitches put in, or they just had some wounds, and people who grounded healed faster. And so if you have like a serious injury and like you're trying to heal quicker, the best way, or what, not the best way, but one of the ways that you can heal yourself faster is through grounding. And there's a lot of benefits. And obviously like you should check this out for yourself too. That's why I put these like couple articles in here, but it's like there's so many different like articles online, both scientific and from like secondary sources that will be perfectly fine to learn more about this from. The goal is for me to bring it to your attention just for like one another thing that like you can do to make yourself better. And it may not be the biggest thing. It's definitely not like a cure the cancer kind of thing, but it might help you prevent that in the long run. It might be one of those things, it's like more of a preventative thing than a curing kind of thing. Yeah, it can help you heal wounds faster, but like overall, if you ground once a day for like 2/3 of the year, you're going to see a noticeable difference between someone who doesn't. And the same thing goes with like ice baths or like using a sauna, things like that. Like if you like biohack, which, and I call grounding a biohack, if you biohack like more often, you're going to start realizing how powerful like everything can be if it's in harmony and unison versus fighting like all these like different energies. Like you want to work with things and not against them. So that's basically where I want to leave this. I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of what grounding is. Like I said, the 2 sources that I just talked about are in the description of the podcast. Feel free to check them out. You can always be better, and this is just one of the ways. I haven't been doing this as much lately, especially since, the fall was, it was a long fall, and I went through a lot of different phases, and now that it's like, I was doing this a lot last spring during the summer, especially. I would never wear shoes if I could, but I wasn't in Cape Cod, or I guess they say on Cape Cod, but I didn't go down to Cape last summer for like my mental health. I just didn't really want to be there, and it was weird because I normally am always going to the beach, and I didn't go to the beach once last summer, so. It was one of those things where the only way I was really grounding was if I went out and like sat on the grass out in front of my house, and I did do that. And especially like if it's raining out and you go sit outside in the grass, I'm telling you, it's gonna feel really good. The rain feels really good when you like, if you can let go of the feeling that like it's raining, or the thought, I should say. Thoughts are basically feelings. They're both vibrations. The idea is that whatever it is that like you want to use, like this water is really conductive. So if you can just focus on the idea that when you're in the shower, even like the electrons are transferring, and allow the negative energy to drain off you. When I started doing this, it really helped me a lot, and I need to be more conscious of it again. And it's great. This is why the podcast is so good for me too, because when I talk about these things, it brings up things I used to do or things that I've heard that I said I was going to do. And then I teach someone else it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should start doing that more too, because like I've done it once or twice, or maybe I've been doing it. And then it's just like, I take a period of time where I haven't been doing it. And then finally, like for the first time in a couple months, I grounded again today, and wow, I felt amazing after, and I still do feel amazing, and I want everyone else to feel amazing too, because we all deserve to feel great every day. We all deserve to thrive, prosper, and feel whole and welcomed by everyone around us. So with that, thank you for listening. My name is Nate Sarantino, and this was the Guided Spirits Podcast.